Hi everybody, welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. My name is Jared. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe. I saw this article on the Deseret News. I check the Deseret News from time to time. I don't typically see articles like this. Opinion: are we on the brink of World War III? And yeah, I think the answer is yes. We've talked about that a lot on my channel, but here is a fresh take on that. And I have a couple other things I want to share with you. This is by Jay Evanson. How close is the United States to World War III? Much closer than you might think. And unfortunately, closer than many of the nation's leaders think, too, apparently. We're not ready. Not militarily, and certainly not as regular people going about our lives, immersed as some are in petty day-to-day concerns. So that part made me think of this scripture, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. This is a popular scripture on Second Coming channels, both inside and outside the church. But it says, "But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night." And here's the part right here. We just talked about people, regular people going about their lives, immersed as some are in petty day-to-day concerns. Verse 3. "For when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." So, you know, this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this channel. I think a lot of us were kind of like woken up to the fact that the second coming is soon back in 2020. I think a lot of the world woke up at that time. And I'm trying to watch signs of the times. I'm trying to keep track of them. I have my spreadsheets, and things are escalating. They are. Empirically, they are escalating. We're seeing things that we haven't seen before. Record-breaking events, wars that we haven't seen before. So it's really not a good idea to just keep living your life and thinking that you have all the time in the world, that we haven't seen anything yet. There's some people that's in that frame of mind. You haven't seen anything yet. We're still good. Just keep... No. We have seen things. According to prophets, we have. I have all sorts of quotes about that. So I think sometimes we think, well, my life is going okay. I'm going to my 9-to-5 job and everything's working well. I'm accomplishing my goals in life, and yeah, no, everything's fine. This isn't anything like the Great Depression. This isn't anything like World War II. Well, I would be careful with that. "For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are the children of light, and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep, as do others, but let us watch." So we're commanded to watch for the signs of the times, "and be sober. For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night." You guys, when it comes to signs of the times, we're going to get back to this. Again, we're talking about the brink of World War III, unbelievably. We're going to get back to this in a minute. But I would invite you to visit my spreadsheet called Quotes, Common Misconceptions. You can access my spreadsheets anytime. The link is in the description box of each video. There are currently 5 people looking at my spreadsheets as I'm making this video. And on this particular spreadsheet, this tab, Quotes, Common Misconceptions, I have a few misconceptions that have to do with the signs of the times. Because a lot of people want to push off the second coming into the future. They want to pretend like it's not going to happen. They're scared of it. They're scared of their lives being interrupted because they have a good thing going on in life right now. Or maybe they're just afraid, and so they don't want to think about it because of fear. You guys, these are the misconceptions. I'm not going to go over them now, but you should look at these. The first one is, it's only a sign if it's supernatural or unexplainable. That's not true. The next one, prophecy cannot be fulfilled unless I am aware of it. That's not true. There's so many people that say, well, we haven't seen this yet. We haven't seen that. What makes you think that you're going to see it? What makes you think you're going to recognize it? Because maybe it's going to play out differently than what you thought. It always amazes me the people that think that they know exactly how something's going to happen. I would be careful with that. This next one's similar. The signs of the times will be very obvious. Nope, not according to prophets and apostles. Not all of them. Some might be, not all. The next one, these aren't the signs of the second coming. We haven't seen anything yet. Nope, that's not true. Not according to President Nelson, President Eyring, others. Next, we shouldn't watch for the signs of the second coming. We should only focus on the here and now. Nope, we should be watching for the signs of the times, according to prophets and apostles. And not just modern day prophets and apostles. We just read a scripture commanding us to watch for the signs of the times. And there are many right here, starting like right here. I think that's the first one. Yeah. Starting right there. Scripture after scripture after scripture after scripture after scripture commanding us to watch for the signs of the times. No, like we do need to live here and now and not be paralyzed by fear of the future, but we definitely need to watch the signs of the times. We do. We're commanded to. And that's the last one that I have under the topic of signs. Now, really quick, I always like to do this whenever I read the scriptures. A lot of people like to just read the scriptures and then they think they understand what it's saying, or they like to interpret it for themselves and they go off in misconceptions. I like to look at our church, since I'm a member of this church, to see what the official church interpretation is of various scriptures. That way, I don't start going off on branches like you have all these different Christian churches, all of them interpreting the scriptures in their own way. That same thing happens in the church because we just interpret scriptures for ourselves, which sometimes you can, but other times when it comes to like prophecy and stuff like that, maybe not so much. It may not be so clear. So this is the Institute Student Manual for 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 1 through 8. Jesus Christ will not come to the saints as a thief. Paul next compared the second coming of Christ to the unexpected arrival of a thief, a comparison earlier used by Jesus Christ. Paul taught that because the followers of Jesus Christ are not in darkness, they will not be caught off guard by the Lord's return. Paul compared the disciples of Jesus Christ to a sober person who is awake and alert. These disciples are unimpaired by the drunkenness of worldly living. Let's go back to this article. As regular people going about our lives, immersed, as some are, in petty day-to-day concerns. That doesn't mean that if you're living your life, you're drunk, but there are some people that they have no thought of tomorrow. They're not watching the signs of the times. They're not listening to the prophets, or even worse, they're actively contradicting what the prophets are saying, and they're contradicting the signs of the times. They're willfully being blind to what's going on. That's being drunk, right? But you can get really caught up in worldly living. You know, you keep improving your house. You keep buying more toys for yourself. You keep going on vacations. You are striving for certain career goals or whatever it is. Things of this world, and you're just focused on that. That's like being drunk if that's all that you're doing. These disciples are unimpaired by the drunkenness of worldly living that prevents the wicked from recognizing the nearness of the Lord's coming. Worldly living, being wicked, and not recognizing the nearness. Let's hope that doesn't describe us. If you're watching this channel, I'm sure it doesn't describe you, except for a few of you. Okay. In modern day scripture, the Lord is taught and again, verily I say unto you, the coming of the Lord draweth nigh, and it overtaketh the world as a thief in the night. Therefore, gird up your loins, that ye may be children of light, and that day shall not overtake you as a thief. D&C 106, verses 4 through 5. Concerning the timing of the second coming, President Joseph Fielding Smith stated, quote, I do not know when he is going to come. No man knows. Even the angels of heaven are in the dark in regard to that great truth. But this I know, that the signs that have been pointed out are here. What? No, we haven't seen the signs of the times. We haven't seen anything yet. Nope. Not according to President Joseph Fielding Smith, a prophet. The signs that have been pointing out are here. The earth is full of calamity, of trouble. The hearts of men are failing them. We see the signs as we see the fig tree putting forth her leaves. In knowing this time is near, it behooves me and it behooves you and all men upon the face of the earth to pay heed to the words of Christ, to his apostles. That would include the prophet, who is just point blank telling us that time is running out. We're in the last half of the ninth inning. We're in the second half of the game where the game's on the line, on and on. We're in the latter part of the latter days, and all the different quotes that I've collected just from President Nelson. To his apostles, and watch, for we know not the day nor the hour, but I tell you this, it shall come as a thief in the night, when many of us will not be ready for it. So you guys, let's watch, and you can do that with me by watching this channel. I'm doing my best to try and watch. Speaking of which, let's go back to this. Okay, Deseret News opinion. Are we on the brink of World War III? That's the assessment of the Commission on the National Defense Strategy, a bipartisan group Congress assigned to analyze President Joe Biden's national defense strategy. This isn't a group of political hacks. As Walter Russell Mead described it in the Wall Street Journal last week, it consists of 8 experts appointed jointly by senior Republicans and Democrats who sit on the House and Senate Armed Services Committees. The commission conducted interviews across the government, quote, reviewing both public and classified information, and issued a unanimous report that in a healthy political climate, would be the central topic of national conversation. But of course, we don't have one of those climates at the moment. So you understand what it's saying? It's like if the United States, if our head was right, and probably if we weren't so divided and divisive and arguing with our neighbors and getting radicalized by whichever side you're on, if we weren't doing that, then we might be focused more on this. This would be like our main concern. It would be a central topic. How close World War III is. Okay, that may change quickly if any of the current trouble spots in the world escalates into a multi-theater war, which I have an upcoming video about Israel. Actually, I may schedule it before this one. I'm not sure yet. But there's been more escalation on that front. Okay, quote, the U.S. public is largely unaware of the dangers the United States faces or the costs, financial and otherwise, required to adequately prepare. They do not appreciate the strength of China and its partnerships or the ramifications of daily life if a conflict were to erupt. So I guess we better be prepared. I'm an optimistic person, guys, but I'm not naive. We should have food storage. We should have emergency supplies. I'm a big proponent for buying land. I have a small piece of land, but it's big enough to grow a garden, have cows. It's a little homestead. I think that's not a bad idea. Continuing, they are not anticipating disruptions to their power, water, or access to all the goods on which they rely. They have not internalized the costs of the United States losing its position as a world superpower. Well, I sure hope that doesn't happen. As Israel and Hezbollah flirt with all-out war, as Russia and Ukraine continue to battle, and as China, according to the New York Times, begins to use force to dominate the South China Sea and attack Philippine boats, the report is blunt. And by the way, if you're on X, you've probably seen videos of the Chinese Coast Guard ramming into Filipino ships and probably Korean ships. I don't know. I've seen videos of them like ramming into foreign vessels to get them out of what they claim are their waters, right? And it's not just that. Everybody knows that China wants Taiwan. That's actually kind of how this year started out. There was I think it was like a New Year address by President Xi of China. And he was talking about Taiwan, how it's like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but I seem to remember that he seemed pretty serious about it. Like it's an inevitability that they're going to try and take Taiwan. So you guys, this is just, my gosh. Okay. Continuing. The report is blunt. Quote, The threats the United States faces are the most serious and most challenging the nation has encountered since 1945 and include the potential for near-term major war, it said. The United States last fought a global conflict during World War II, which ended nearly 80 years ago. The nation was last prepared for such a fight during the Cold War, which ended 35 years ago. It is not prepared today. Okay, later on, as Mead's headline in the Wall Street Journal put it, the nation is shrugging as World War III approaches. Oh my gosh, you guys. Let me know in the comments. Do you think that World War III is about to erupt? Do you? If not, then why? If so, why? Just put it in the comments. Do you think that World War III, is it like when it's all said and done, are we going to look back and be like, yeah, World War III started with the invasion of Ukraine, for example? We may already be in it. Maybe not the main portion of it, but the very beginnings. I think that very well could be the case. Okay, continuing. A more devastating indictment of a failed generation of national leadership could scarcely be penned, he wrote. Ouch. It's worth noting that the U.S. was woefully unprepared to fight World War II when it entered the multi-theater conflict after Pearl Harbor. As the National World War II Museum's website notes, quote, America needed to quickly raise, train, and outfit a vast military force. At the same time, it had to find a way to provide material aid to its hard-pressed allies, and massive government spending was required. As to that last point, we didn't have a $35 trillion national debt and annual budget deficits that already exceed $2 trillion in 1941. If this is the prelude to another global conflict, future generations might wonder why we ignored reports such as this one. And lastly, I was actually thinking of doing a video like this a couple weeks ago because there was this video that came out from Fox Business. General Jack Keane, U.S. is on a pathway to World War III. I would encourage you to watch that. He just says that we haven't seen a time like this since World War II, and it's not looking good. It's not looking good. And one of the big reasons, according to him, is that these different, belligerents, Russia, Iran, Hamas, Hezbollah, China, potentially if they go after Taiwan, they view the United States as weak. And with each new conflict, he didn't say this part, but this is my opinion. With each new conflict that erupts, it divides our attention. We've talked about this before when the Israel war started. And so if China goes after Taiwan, if North Korea tries to do something, I think I've seen theories or talks about North Korea trying to invade South Korea and unify the peninsula. But anyway, with each new one that breaks out, our attention is divided, and we are spread more and more thin, and we have to prioritize what we're going to focus on. So if you're an enemy of the United States and you have a certain goal where the United States has been holding you back, yeah, right now is probably a good time to go for it. If you have the resources, then go for it, because they can't handle all of us all together. They can try. So anyway, you guys, as always, the most important thing is to be ready spiritually. Make sure that you're on the covenant path and progressing down the covenant path. Make sure that you're going to church, you're keeping the Sabbath day holy, taking the sacrament, that you have a temple recommend. And when I say that, I mean be worthy and have a temple recommend. And just do the things that we know we need to do. Gather scattered Israel, share the Book of Mormon, go to the temple and do, gather scattered Israel on the other side of the veil. And then after that, make sure that you're prepared temporally. Have food storage, plant a garden, have emergency plans, buy emergency equipment. So Anyway, well, that's it for this one. So if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video if you liked it, leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Also make sure to share it, and I'll talk to you guys later.